Hey heroes, Cole's here. Today I'm going to be going through the hero tier list for September of 2025. So I've been trying to figure out how to keep an updated tier list as best I can without having to edit a full video every time. So this is going to be my attempt at that. There are a bunch of heroes that have come out, I think, since the last time well, definitely the last time I did a video. And then there've been a couple new heroes recently, so it'd be fun to look at them and see how they rank overall. I will go through my criteria on what I think makes like a good hero generally. I put a lot more emphasis on the early game relative to the late game, and then I'll cover each one of the heroes. There's all 66 of them now, so I'll go like one at a time. I'll spend more time on the better heroes than on the weaker heroes, and I'll try and mention like if they're good in a particular event or game mode kind of thing. So some heroes are good for like one thing, which is good to know too. But this gives you a general sense of what the best overall heroes are. Now, the idea behind doing this is that people spend gems and real money on heroes, and so I want to make sure that like they have an understanding of what they're getting for their money. It's the single most Googled and requested list is like what are the best heroes. So you need to do this. People that argue against it, I think, have a jaded perspective on what it's like to be new. And it's good to have a general sense of like what the best heroes are. Just so when you're getting into the game, you like know what is good and what's bad. So that's my quick general take on it. I'm doing this in like a Canva, like a little janky Canva setup here. I usually edit it, but today I'm just going to be doing it live, and so bear with me as I like some things might be a little bit slow as I go from like tabbing back and forth basically because it's like not technically meant for this like live presentation style. So bear with me a little bit on there. It should be okay though. And if anything's not working, just let me know in the comments and I will fix it as best I can. All right, and let me sure I actually have my the chat pulled up here so I can chat with you guys. Pop this guy out. All right, cool. All right, hey everyone. So thanks Paradox, thanks Lena for showing up, Orchardist, Cemar, nice to see you guys. Everybody, thanks for showing up, chat. Appreciate it. If you guys have an opinion on a hero that differs from mine, like please let me know in the chat, and I will take it into consideration. But let's start going through this as best I can. Let's see here. So I have to do a little bit of this. Okay. And at the beginning, just let me make sure that like it's actually working. So Stormborn is my first guy here. So I think if I do it like that, you guys should be able to see it. All right, cool. Stormborn is somewhere between like A and average. He's probably like a low A kind of average hero. Something around here. I actually think so. In the Discord today, I think whatever was like crabbing on Stormborn. I actually think he's a well-designed hero. He's got a strong forge. I think he'll be able to push like Nightmare mode for you if you have him. Like if he was your first adventure hero, I think he'll be able to push Nightmare mode for you. He can definitely clear hard mode. So he's like a low A kind of guy. I think he's actually a good hero. I find him fun too, as like a general, just like Cole's takeaway. I think he's a fun guy to play. I like the theme behind him a lot. So I'm a little bit more bullish on, I think, Stormborn than maybe some other people are, but I think he's a good hero. All right, these are just kind of random. If you guys have a particular hero you want me to like go over like right away or something, like yell. Blade Master, he's the best free-to-play hero, I think, in my opinion. Long term, somewhere between him and Knight, right? They're the two best free-to-play guys. Blade Master is like phenomenal once you get his ultimate and get some of a hero roster. He can clear out hard mode for you like no problemo. Really cool build from Kesrithop he's been promoting in Headhunters and on like the main Discord. I'm going to get a write-up of that done and credit him in that guild. But Blade Master with Evasion actually is this really cool kind of build to get you through hard mode. So I think you shouldn't sleep on Blade Master at all. I think he's actually a really strong hero. All right, I will do Puppeteer and Dark Mage. I got the first two requests for those, so I will give them a shot here early on. If I can find them. All right, cool. I have like this whole like just barrage of like heroes that just like overlaid on top of each other. That's why I'm kind of grabbing them randomly. But Puppeteer is a strong hero. I think he's tremendously fun to play. I actually really enjoy these ones with minions. So something like him, Necromancer when I've done try mode seems like a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of these guys that have like little minions that help them along the way. Now, in our testing over the last couple of weeks, his when you get his forge, he's able to push a significant amount of damage. So he's going to be a pure damage hero. He doesn't really have a whole ton of utility. There is his slow in his forge, which I think will make him viable in nightmare mode, at least as like an option if you have him. And his top tier and his damage is maybe not exactly top tier, but very, very solid. So he's also like just super fun to play. So you can make him like a high A, even possibly like low S tier. I'll play with these at the end to like adjust them as I see fit. But for early on, I'll put him somewhere around there. And then let me try and find Dark Mage amongst all these dudes I have down here. All right, cool. So Dark Mage. Dark Mage is great. Dark Mage is like Puppeteer on steroids, I would say, in the sense that it's a pure damage hero, but it's like massively pure damage hero. In the testing on both Nightmare mode and on hard mode, Dark Mage actually like comes out like towards the top as like one of the top premier damage heroes in the game. So for that reason, I put him somewhere in the middle of S tier. He is reliant on getting his forge up. So you're gonna want his forge in order to maximize his damage. His 5R, where each horde starts shooting projectiles, is where you get a significant damage boost, and he gets a lot of damage from his skill that lays out the damage on the ground. I'm not remembering the name of it off the top of my head. But that combination just like puts him over the top as like one of the premier, if not like the event top 3 or 4 like premier hard mode damaging heroes. So and he's cool. That's another one. His ultimate scales off of not having to kill horde, which is big. So overall, like a very, very strong hero. And one for a recent hero, I put him in like mid S tier, something along those lines. Let's see here. Any other requests? Dark Paladin. Okay, so Dark Paladin, I slept on when I first started playing this game, but has slowly over time won my heart over. Kezarthup has a lot to do with that. But Dark Paladin is forge dependent. You're going to need to get at least a 2-star forge and ideally a 5-star forge. But once you hit your 5-star forge, he can clear basically the entire game. He's like a Warlord light, but his kit is based around disruption, so slows and stuns instead of like just pure manly orc damage. That said, 5-star forge, he's going to clear hard mode arena for you. He'll clear all of nightmare mode. And I should have known this earlier because my guild leader in my first guild, Slayer X, was a Dark Paladin main, and he was able to clear like all the content. This was back like last July time period. And so I should have realized our Paladin was stronger than I thought he was, but he's a very, very strong hero. He also has really great globals. The 3-star forge for the times 1.12 damage is one of the best globals in the game, if not the best. And so even if he's just going to be a shelf hero for you, you don't actively use him because you like other heroes better, he's still fantastic to grab. So I am super high on Dark Paladin. Kezarthup has made me a believer over the last several months. So I'm high on Dark Paladin. So he's somewhere up in this S tier. I don't know exactly where he'll fall at the end of the day. Yeah, and Kezarthup, man, is getting all these callouts. We're like 5 minutes into the stream here, and Kezarthup's been like mentioned more than some of the heroes. So this is how it goes. Let's see. Yeah, and the best thing about Dark Mage too is he is just the best hero in Guild Event. So I am not as high on Guild Event as like an event right now as a lot of other people. I think it's kind of just like a farm event mostly. Once you get to like a certain level in the game, every hero gets basically like 29,000 plus. But Dark Mage can break 30,000 because he does so much damage, which is pretty cool. I got a request today on Inkbot. I don't remember if that was internally in the guild or on the main Discord. Inkbot's firmly in like the middle tier here. So he's average, fun to play. This fun to play is in my opinion type thing. So like everyone has their own favorite heroes, so don't go by mine in particular. But I think Inkbot's actually pretty fun in my testing. I like the thematics and I like how he spews green stuff all over the place. But he's just kind of like a generic damage hero. So his globals aren't great. And so if you like playing him and like last adventure was your first adventure hero, and you have him like at level 100, he could definitely clear, the beginning of hard mode for you, beginning of nightmare mode for you, but no problem. So I think he's good in that respect. But like it's like an average hero. Sporemancer. Sporemancer. Let's see, you get him here somewhere. I have not played a lot with him. He kind of seems like one of these. Anytime a hero just comes out like in a random event, unless they're making big splashes like Dark Mage, I kind of just put them as like, eh. Sporemancer is one of those guys. He came out in a random event, and he's just kind of like, eh. I'm sure you could main him if you have him through hard mode and nightmare mode, but he doesn't have a unique identity. And so that's what's going to be good about some of these other heroes is like, okay, I understand like why they exist. And I'll do one really quick that's like an S tier version of this is Santa. So Santa is has a very, very clear identity in this game. Santa is the premier farming hero if you're going for gold keys. So as you like progress early in the game and you need to like get your gear up, Santa makes just a tremendous difference in that, both through his globals and then just through like him being him. His level 140 strong skill is more gold key chance. So for that reason, Santa's whole identity in this game is I'm going to help you get gold keys. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's really, really cool hero design where like a hero has a concept and a niche and like he fills that niche really well. And Santa is the ultimate example of this. We'll go over a couple other ones. So Santa's somewhere here up in S tier. I use Santa for 6,000 to 7,000 runs. Like you're gonna if you have Santa and you play this game like to grind for heroic, you use him more than any other hero in the game ever. Even like now, eventually you switch to like Warlord or somebody late game, but Santa is the person that will have done the most runs with you. So he holds a special place in my heart, and I think he's S tier for his identity and for what he brings to the table on that side. And just let me catch up here on any other on the chat real quick. All right, cool. All right, so Panda, we got Werebeast. Okay, so we're going through. Everyone's requesting all these like super awesome like S tier heroes right away. Let me find Werebeast. So Werebeast is one of the heroes that I had high back in my original rankings in. I think I did my first ranking was actually one of my first videos. So it was like back in March. So it's been like 6 months. And Werebeast I had it like mid S tier. I actually think now you can make an argument that Werebeast is the single best hero in the game. I'm not going to make that argument, but I would accept it if you made it to me as like a possible solution or a possible argument for being the best one. I have Werebeast personally in my head as the second best hero in the game. He has a ton of innate cooldown built into his kit, which means that you can easily clear normal mode and hard mode because cooldown is the biggest scaler to damage. And so as you get into later hard mode stages, as long as you have ascended gear, Werebeast can clear them all out because you combine that with his kit that heals and shields, and he just doesn't die. So I think Werebeast is just like out of the box, super, super strong. And that's where I put a lot of my emphasis. So what I'm saying, when I say like how I rank these heroes, I try and think of like the average player, and only 0.1 or 1% of players ever even get to nightmare mode. So you're really looking at like what's good for arena, normal mode, and hard mode. Like that's what the core gameplay is for most people. Maybe tack on like some dungeon or faction wars and that kind of stuff. But you're looking at normal mode, hard mode, and arena. And Werebeast fulfills the normal mode and hard mode tremendously well. So like he's just out of the box without a forge, without really any levels. We'll just like start tearing through both those game modes. So that's why I value him so much. Tack on the fact that I think he's the strongest nightmare mode hero, and I think he's one of the top 2 and top 3 in Dragon's Tower, which is like the end of the end game. And you have just like an all-around fantastic hero that you can use as soon as you get him at the beginning until literally I just cleared all of DT34 this week with him. Like 0 to 20 with Werebeast without thinking about it. So just an all-around extremely, extremely strong hero. And I have him at number 2. So I originally had him like, let's say like number 5, number 6. I don't remember exactly. But in my like mental model, he's moved up to number 2. And again, like if you disagree, feel free to disagree in the chat, and I will address your disagreements. Happy to go back and forth. I love arguing about stupid stuff like this, so go for it. Let's see here. Okay, let me just grab the next one that's like down here on my list of people. All right, I grabbed Easter Guardian. So this guy to me is just like, the big thing that I don't like about this guy is his art. Like, I just don't get how he fits the theme of like all the other heroes in this game. So that's my biggest gripe with this dude. And so he's probably like an average hero, but I'm gonna put him down here in Shelby's just because I don't like the art. He's got decent globals. He has a theme around Easter. He's like a chicken. I don't know. He's not like an Easter bunny. He's like an Easter chicken. Not my guy. I know chicken lay eggs and bunnies don't lay eggs, but I think this guy is a bit of an egg. Barbarian. So he's a fun little guy, right? Let's see here. He's somewhere low, high A, low S. He's got an interesting niche. So like he used to be the premier hero in the game back in the day. And he's a guy that I always regret having spent real money on grabbing when I didn't need to. So I have a little bit of resentment towards him. But he's great in the events where you have to run around. Like that's where his technical like identity shines the best, is in those. But he'll put up decent numbers for you in boss brawl. He can clear hard mode once you get his forge done. He is reliant on more having a larger roster of heroes than like somebody like Werebeast. So maybe he's more like, maybe he's more in here somewhere nowadays. Just with like all the other heroes that exist in the game. Let's put him in like mid A for now. He's a good hero. He's just not as good as he like historically once was. And just gets like outshined in the late game, which is where he used to be like the main hero, by some of the other more like recent adventure-y scaling heroes. So something to keep in mind there. Let's see. I am not going to start over Paradox. That is ridiculous. Astral Mage and Oracle. I can get them go next. Hey BLT. Let's see here. Yes, I will try and mention game modes in which heroes are very strong for all of them as we go along here, because there are some heroes that you just use for a game mode 100%. All right, so I got Astral Mage and Oracle. So you guys are requesting a bunch of really good heroes, just as a point of reference. That's an Astral Mage. That's a different mage. Oracle. I really like Oracle. So let's get her somewhere like in here for now. I'm going to play with this S tier ranking. Oracle is great. I got her in a dig event a couple months ago, and then her forge tokens came up in arena, so I have her at I think 4 stars now. 4-star forge. She's only at 3 stars with the 4-star forge, and she's great. The 4-star forge is a big jump in damage. The linked orbs really make a big difference. She has a cool build where you just grab Duration Tome, and that keeps her orbs out longer and lets her do more damage. She can clear normal mode and hard mode, no problem. She can put a decent dent once you get her forge into arena, and again, I think that's where I put most of the emphasis here. So she can start clearing higher stages of arena for you earlier in the game than other heroes, which is big. She's a lot of fun. Like, she's a fun thematic. Like, she's this one-eyed, future-seeing witch lady, which is pretty cool. So I'm a big fan of the Oracle, and I've been really happy with her damage in boss brawl at 4 stars. She's like the second tier down. So if you think of like Warlord, Bunny, and Druid as your top 3, she could fit in at the next level. So like Oracle, Assassin, Big Game Hunter, Rose Mother, those kind of guys actually come out in like a nice little tier 2. So I've been very happy with Oracle. I considered her high when I first did this 6 months ago because of her reputation, and having played with her, I think it's well deserved. So big fan of the Oracle. The other one was Astral Mage. So Astral Mage, all right. Astral Mage has been a point of contention in the Discord between like me and everybody else. I think you can make a case that Astral Mage is like somewhere here in the low S tiers. But in my experience, you need to have a whole ton of resources in this hero. Like, you need to have Astral Mage at 5 stars, like 5-star levels, and a 5-star Forge. At that point, she is beast mode. Like, she is a very strong, fully invested hero. She can clear all nightmare mode. She can push you levels in Dragon's Tower. She can clear hard mode arena at that point. Like, she's a beast, but like 5-star heroes are super hard to come by. And while I don't have her at 4 stars yet, I just don't see how like the power jump from 3 stars to 4 stars is going to be big enough to make her like super great. So like in my experience, I have her like here, somewhere in A tier. Like, she's a good hero, but I don't think she's amazing. And a lot of people do think she's amazing. So it could just be that like when I hit her at 4-star levels and like a 4-star Forge, maybe she would spike up a bunch for me. But I have not been impressed at comparing her at 3 stars with no Forge to somebody like Oracle at 3-star no Forge, somebody like Werebeast at 3-star no Forge, or Big Game Hunter at 3-star no Forge. So if you take that as your baseline, 3-star no Forge, I don't think she's top tier. And that's more where my head is in these kinds of rankings generally. So that's my explanation for Astral Mage being like mid-A instead of low S. Yeah, Hax is wrong sometimes. It's on occasion. So yeah, I'm not as big an Astral Mage. 3-star Forge and 4-star. So I don't have her at 3-star Forge, and I don't have her at Forge, and I don't have her at 4-star. So like maybe my opinion will change when I get her up to 4-star levels. But comparing her at 3 and 0 to other heroes, I am unimpressed. So I still think she's good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, an A hero is still like of 60 heroes, she's in the top third. But I don't know if she cracks the top 10. But I mean, I will change my opinion over time. Like there is an argument, and I understand everyone's argument that she is like, instead of being here, you know, somewhere over here, or maybe like somewhere up over here. I understand the logic there potentially, but for me, she's here. So, and that's about. I will happy to come back to her later. Shield Warden. So Shield Warden is a really cool example of like another hero with an identity. So if like Santa is the guy that does farming for you, Shield Warden is the guy with a shield. I guess it's in the name, but it's a unique aspect to him. It's like, all right, how do you play around his shielding and his stuns with his shield? It makes him very, very strong in for clearing out normal mode and hard mode. I haven't really tried him in arena, so I can't comment there. He is great in nightmare mode. He's very strong in Dragon's Tower. I like the hero design a lot. Like, he is the guy that, all right, his ultimate is just a reflection of damage, like back onto the Horde. It's just like thematically constructed very well. So like if Easter Guardian has like, it's just an egg of a hero, like this is a shining example of like a really well constructed hero. Add on the fact that the Forge recently like gives him a whole new identity as potentially doing damage. Like just great hero design through and through. Like, I think Shield Warden in terms of pure hero design and thematics is like one of the best heroes, if not the best hero in the game. That's why I wish they had chosen the Riot Shield Warden as a potential skin. But I have him here probably like low S. His big thing is he just lacks damage relative to the other heroes higher in the list than him. Like, he's never going to top your charge and damage, at least in my experience, but he'll get you through a whole bunch of game modes. Let's see here. All right, here's a little bit of a fun one. Minotaur. I did not like this hero. I would put him like down here. I am not going to be getting him with tokens in Dragon's Tower. Like, that's my hot take on the Minotaur. Playing with his 4-star Forge felt really, really bad. Like, just from the having to like juggle it and manage it. I think like that whole concept of Minotaur needs to be reworked. So I don't like, I personally actually did not like the hero. You need to get hit for a lot of his abilities to work, and in like game modes like Dragon's Tower, where like in theory you want to use the guy, you can't because you can't get hit there. So I in my playtesting really did not like the hero. So that's where I came out on him. He's got decent globals. I think he's got like a 105 multiple to damage. Let me check real quick. So like there's that, but for all those tokens in Dragon's Tower, I'd much rather just like get my Bunny up to 5 stars. That's my current logic. Let's see. Yeah, health, area of effect, damage, and 1.025. Yeah, so I am not high on Bulwark. On Minotaur. I would recommend highly, and I do this in my video on Dragon Tower coming out on Sunday. Bulwark should be your number one buy in Dragon's Tower. And then honestly, like I think getting special heroes up to like 4 or 5 star levels might actually be the higher priority. So that's my hot take on Minotaur. And again, like, feel free, you can go back and watch the live stream from 2 weeks ago, I guess, and you can see me playing with him if you want to get a feel for it. So that was my take. So my actual actions are I've bought Bulwark and I'm gonna buy Bunny shards before going back and getting Bulwark tokens. So I am really not investing in Minotaur personally. All right. This guy just next on my little list here, Steam Golem. Doesn't have a forge. His globals are all crap. So he's not even like he like could be even down here somewhere. Like he needs a theme. He needs something to make him viable, but like he's just a shelf hero. He'll do decent damage for you, right? He's kind of like in the Sporemancer family of people, where like if he was your first adventure hero, great. You could use him. He'll do some damage for you, but he has no identity. He doesn't shine in any particular event. I don't really ever use him for anything. Living Forge. Here's an interesting idea. Here's an interesting concept. He's got some decent globals. Let's not move that around. What are his globals off the top of my head? I don't remember them exactly, so let me check real quick. Where are you, buddy? This is all the stuff I usually edit out so you guys don't have to watch me like scroll through my list of heroes to find Living Forge. You're down there. Okay, 1.05 damage at his 3-star. Global isn't awful. And area of effect. Okay, so his globals are solid and armor at 120. So he's a good for globals guy. So I'm going to put him over here. The mechanic of hitting his anvil is like really hard to like manage. You have to like, right, it shoots in a straight direction, so you can't really use him for boss brawl. And if you're not near it in like faction wars, you just don't proc it. So it can be frustrating to play. So maybe he's down here. I don't know. I like the concept. Like I like the concept of the guy, but anytime like they take a little bit of like a risk on like the gameplay, it can like hit big or be a big miss. And with Living Forge, all right, I have him down in shelfies, but you guys can't see it because my ugly face is in your way. Move him over here. I kind of feel like he's over here somewhere, unfortunately. Great globals, though. So, like, if you got him in from the adventure, like, really good for globals. But playing him feels clunky and, like, isn't my style. So, I'd have him, like, great for, like, good for globals, not so great for, like, playing with, from my personal experience. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything away in happening in chat. All right, Dragon Empress. All right, Cemar. Dragon Empress. Okay, so I have her somewhere over in here in the with Inkbot, in the Inkbot territory. I have been playing. I got her randomly, or when I got like my Santa and Leprechaun in that time period. She does a decent amount of damage, and I actually think she's pretty fun. I really like the thematics of like the fireworks going off all the time. I wish she had something like, a little bit more of an identity, but the thematics are fun. So she's like an average hero with cool thematics. That's like how I would describe her. She does have a nice global for coin bonus that is like good to have, but it's really hard to get hero shards for special faction heroes, so you might not get that for a while. But yeah, so I guess Cemar, that's kind of why she's the forgotten hero, is because she's doesn't really have an identity, and she doesn't do anything particularly outstanding. All right, Leprechaun. So Leprechaun, he's a guy with an identity. This guy is your premier coin farmer. If you need gold coins, Leprechaun is your man. There is a whole unique build that you execute for Leprechaun that focuses on doing as little damage as you can with your weapons and does as much damage and clears as many horde as you can with his pot of gold, which turns horde into coins. So you end up running the highest hard mode stage that you can, and you actually have to actively play, but if you actively play, you can generate a ton of gold coins from turning horde into coins. So like that's another great example. Like this dude has an identity. He is the gold coin farmer. He fits with Leprechaun. Excellent hero design. I don't have his higher level forges, but they read really, really well too. So I could imagine at like 5-star forge, this guy could actually be a beast. He might be able to, he can clear certain levels of nightmare mode already just because of how pot of gold works. And he can easily clear normal mode and hard mode. I used to use him at the end of hard mode all the time. He'll actually do a tremendous amount of damage with his main weapon. And so he's got this cool identity. He does a lot of damage. I just don't have him in higher star forges, and they read well, but I don't know exactly how they play out. So I need to, if anyone has any insight on like Leprechaun with like a 5-star forge, it would be good to know. I have not played with him at that level yet, and so it's hard for me to understand. Hard for me to know. So if you're actively playing and getting the same as Santa, you need to play differently, maybe. You should. We end up building Armor Tome, Evasion Tome, XP, Coin, and one other one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Regen, Health Regen. And then you go Divine Aura, Main Weapon, Arcane Staff, Ice Wand, basically anything that doesn't synergize. And the idea is you have to actively play. So you actually have to like do stuff. But you want to like let the pot of golds go out and then proc and then turn away so you don't kill anything. Let the pot of golds kill stuff, turn back. So you have to actively play. But you need to like build super defensively and then actively do it. That said, so Leprechaun is like high A, low S, high A kind of range. He's a really, really good hero. Excellent design, good theme, a lot of fun. So somewhere in that range. Again, I'll play with the exact rankings over time. All right, my sworn nemesis, Necromancer. Necromancer is somewhere in here. He's like a high A kind of guy. Really, again, another like super fun hero to play. Like, I wish I had the dude in try mode. He's been a lot of fun, and the 1 or 2 times I've tried him in my God account, he's been like really, really fun to play. So like really cool. The worm from his level 4 forge is fantastic. It's just a really, really well designed hero. Globals aren't particularly great. I guess does he have cooldown? I don't remember if he has cooldown at level 120. Does he? Is he a cooldown guy? Yes, he is a cooldown guy. So he's got strong globals. He's got that one particular global, which he'll take. But really good for hard mode, really good for arena, really good for hard mode arena, really good in hero clash. Haven't talked a lot about that, but he's really strong in hero clash. Of the guys we've talked about here too, Oracle is really strong in hero clash. Shield Warden is good for hero clash. Those two, you could probably run Dark Mage in hero clash. Dark Paladin might be okay in hero clash. I don't see a lot of him. But Necromancer is fantastic in hero clash. Anything where you can just build armor and life gives him a major advantage. So really good in nightmare mode too. I haven't played with him in Dragon's Tower, and I actually haven't gotten a lot of reports of him in Dragon's Tower, so I'm not sure how he fares there. But super fun to play. Good top tier hero. Strong mid A, high A kind of guy. Big fan of Necromancer. I'll do this guy next just because he's like part of the events. Energy Mage. Energy Mage has awesome globals. He's got both penetration, right? And cooldown. Does he have his penetration, right? And cooldown? Is that how he rolls? Penetration and cooldown, yeah. His big issue is that he doesn't have a forge. So you're missing out on like potentially having like a forge global and that impacting his strength. So his ceiling is lower. But great for globals, a lot of fun to play. I actually just spun him again today. So in my spins for Reaper, I nailed him again. So I got 150 shards. And that actually kind of feels bad because I have him at 4 star levels already. The 150 shards literally doesn't do anything for me. Which always feels kind of bad. Like I would have rather gotten exchange tokens than Energy Mage. I'm so spoiled over here. But really strong globals. So we'll take that. And fun to play. So I'd say he's probably on like this side of average. You can even make an argument he's like a low A guy, even without a forge. If he had a forge, he'd be low A, I think. And he might even pop up even higher. He's a good hero design, and like different. Like his whole thing is shooting out these little projectiles that bounce all over the place. So I'm a fan of Energy Mage. I like him. Let's see. Energy Mage is in the current event. Okay, Reaper is the other guy that's in the current event. Ooh, let's not do that. Reaper, buddy. Reaper, so he's got like a high ceiling in damage. So Reaper can carry you through normal and hard mode. He can push arena levels. He falls off because of the way his ultimate works. So his ultimate doesn't require killing Horde to proc, but it attracts all the Horde on the screen to you. And so in modes where you don't have evasion, like Dragon's Tower and Nightmare mode, getting all the Horde to suck onto you just instantly kills you, which is not the best. So you can't use him in those kinds of game modes, but he does a whole bunch of damage. And so you might be able to swing him through even hard mode arena. I'm not totally sure. But he's good in Nightmare mode, hard mode, and regular arena. Now his globals are also very strong. He's got area of effect built into there, I believe. And he's also got cooldown. Cooldown, again, is like the single highest damage, increasing your damage that you can get from a global. So that's very strong to get. And let me show on the area side. It's movement speed is the extra one. Movement speed. Okay, so it's mostly cooldown that you're going for from Reaper, and then a little bit of movement speed. So good hero, very, very good hero. Again, like top 20-ish of like these 66, top third kind of guy, in my opinion. Let's see. Dark Mage is also good in Hero Clash. Good to know. That makes sense. Marcus just does so much damage that it does like it works. Yeah, Necro wishes he was Shaman. That is true. I feel like they have gotten, if they use Spirit Shaman as a as like their attempt at doing minions, they got it way better with Necromancer, and they've done a very good job with Puppet Master too. So like they're figuring out how to make these minions work. Let's see. Let's do Rocket Pilot next. I can do that. Yeah, my face belongs firmly on the shelf. Oh, and I took down my took down this guy. So maybe I should just have this. I can have this on camera the whole time. How's this looking? Just do one of these. I had a job interview yesterday, so I figured like maybe the elf on the shelf wasn't the best thing to have in the back. So I took that guy down, but he belongs firmly on the shelf. He's very creepy. Let's see. Let me grab Gravedigger, which I know I loaded in here last night. Let me try and find him real quick. There he is. He's hidden. Let's see. Gravedigger's going to go up here somewhere, I think. Gravedigger with his kit doesn't have any healing or shielding, so he's going to be a pure damage hero. And he's a physical damage hero amongst a whole bunch of magic damage heroes in the Magic Council. That said, playtesting with him last week, if you get him up to 5-star Forge, he's going to be really strong. He's going to put out a substantial amount of damage. And he's super fun to play. I really like the thematics of the plants, and especially the spitting plants when you get a 2-star Forge. I think that's really, really cool. And then you're going to be playing around like how you manage your plants in the fertilizer, which is not something I thought I'd say about a video game. And that can be a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of Gravescraper. I think he's again another fun hero. He might, honestly, you could make an argument he's up here in the A group somewhere. Right. So like the way I think about these rankings too is like the gap from like S1 to S10 is basically the same as the gap from like A1 to like average bottom. Like a lot of these heroes, if you like them, you could for sure forge them up and use them and be totally happy. Something like Astral Mage, right? Like if you want to invest in a hero because you like them, and they have a forge, for the most part, unless they're like really bad, you can clear out the whole game with them. So like, there's like gradations here that I think are like a little bit bigger amongst the S tier, but like once you start getting into this average, even the mid A to average group, a lot of these heroes are very very similar. But I guess the more important part to know for like beginning players is more like the S tier stuff. And so I'm happy to argue about like that more too, generally. Let's see here. What else we got? Who we got next? Who's on the top of my list here? All right, Pirate Queen. Pirate Queen's a totally average hero. She's actually really good in the early game. Um, She is really good in the early game. I don't particularly find her fun to play. I feel like the fantasy of like having like a pirate lady shooting guns isn't like my cup of tea, I guess. Um, but her big thing is once you unlock, I guess, all of her kit's instant kill abilities, she can clear out arena, which is super important. You can cheese your way through an instant kill version of an arena build, which is really important. So you could make an argument that she's actually somewhere in the A group for that reason. Her ability to clear out arena is like great, and the fact that she's free to play is a great combination. I personally just don't like the thematics all that much, so that's again a personal thing here. But early in the game, when you get it for free, it can definitely help you clear out some of arena, which is really really big. So on arena stages that don't have instant kill disabled, you can check out the cheese build. It's all over. It's on my site and it's in Discord and stuff. It's a good way of using Pirate Queen. So, she's like, again, could make an argument in the A tier here. But like beyond that, you stop using her. So, like there are other heroes you'd probably rather use in arena. Like I personally like Blade Master more, although a lot of people like Pirate Queen just as much. Um, Here's a fun one. Slime Sage. For some reason, so I've been getting all my art from the APK, like that I found on the internet, and in the file names, I just can't find a Slime Sage portrait. So the only Slime Sage image I have is this guy. So I'm sorry he doesn't look like literally every other hero, but I guess it's because he's like the outcast of the bunch. And he finds himself down here in the rework category. His big problem is that his skills take time, and you don't have enough time for the skills to do anything in Heroes vs. Hordes most of the time. And then in a game where you think it might work, like in Boss Brawl, it doesn't. So unfortunately, this adventure hero needs a rework. Now, if they just gave this dude a lot of armor, like if they made him like the armor guy, this is my crusade to give Slime Sage armor, he'd at least like fill like a shelfy kind of role. Where okay, you might not use him all that much, but giving armor to the Magic Council would make Astral Mage way stronger for like certain game modes. So I think Slime Sage needs to rework, or they just need to like cut down on like the time built into his skills. I think that's the big issue. Even his ultimate, right? Like the stupid blob has to jump. King Vicious has to jump, and it's just wasted DPS time. So they gotta like take the time out of his kit, I think. That's my quick take on it. I could be wrong, and he could just be bad for other reasons. All right, let's see. I got Root Master pulling out some of the not top tier heroes right now. Root Master is really good for globals, so I guess I won't put him in the rework section. He's a shelfie. Keep him on the shelf, and he'll keep you happy. And I'm gonna move some of these guys over here so I can make room behind my face. I will have the full version of this image afterwards, so I can post that. But for now, I'm just moving these guys behind me. Rune Master has really strong globals that add plus damage to different types of statuses, which are really big. Anytime you get multiplicative damage to a status, it's a big boost late game, and even kind of like after the early game. And he's got ones for burning and for freezing, and I think one other one. So and for stuns maybe. So really good for his globals. You don't really use him otherwise. Let's see here. Paladin. Paladin's fun. He's a good, very good early game hero, and I like his thematic. So I put him somewhere around here. He's got decent globals. The big thing with Paladin is that he's free and that he's a Warriors Guild. And so the way hero camps work, right? Blade Master, Paladin, Knight are all free to play, and they're all in the same Warriors Guild, and so they all buff each other up. And so for that reason, he's worth getting. He's got decent globals. He's kind of fun to play. You can use him in normal mode and hard mode to clear chapters. So he's like an average guy, but on the funner side of average. Personal opinion. Take it for what you will. Let's see here. I am not a Misfortune main. I've been a support main. Misfortune, as long as you're good in lane, you're okay. Got him. I had not had any experience playing with him, and my only reference point was in the Discord community guide sheet, and they have him like get like C tier or something like that. So like his globals aren't fantastic. I think they're mostly damage, and he himself is not like a super high damage hero, but he can fly. And they actually like let him fly, like literally. When you get his ultimate going, he takes off and he can like fly over things. So he can fly over Horde. He's invincible against Horde. He can fly over like terrain. And so we had a lot of fun in that Dragon's Tower when someone recommended flying over the side. So I remember who exactly that was. That was like a fun little like game breaking moment. But generally, the thematics of the flying cat rocket is awesome. So he's a totally average hero. Like he's not going to blow you away, but I find him a tremendous amount of fun to play. And he does solid damage. So he's like an old school Inkbot, Dragon, Empress. He'll be in that same kind of range. I just think he's fun. So in terms of like most, the reason why you're playing video games here is to have fun. At the end of the day, I'd hope. So he's a really good example of like what I think just like a fun hero is to play. And again, that's like personal opinion. You might think that Slime Sage is a lot of fun. I mean, you'd be wrong, but like you're allowed to have your wrong opinions. So that's where I am on Rocket Pilot. He was the impetus for this whole category of like average but fun. Let's see, Lionheart. Lionheart is just like a guy in the middle here. Ooh, something like that. And as I try and organize these a bit, let me get these things lined up. I don't have OCD about this kind of stuff, but I should at least try and make it look a little bit pretty for now. Like perfectly average hero. Doesn't have a forge, which is bad. His other globals aren't great, but he is part of the warrior faction, so he will buff up like Blade Master and Knight, which is nice. So I don't recommend really getting him. I got him. I would recommend spending Hero Clash tokens more on Forge tokens than on Lionheart personally. That said, like if you like the guy, you like the guy, and you can play him. He's got like Garen vibes going. So if you like Garen from League of Legends, he's like your boy. Let's see here. The best heroic level helmet for boss brawl. I'm pretty sure it's Rogue. I think there's 2 times status damage, which is ridiculous. That's like the biggest buff. So when I can't use Rogue, I think I use Wizard Helm as my backup for like hard mode arena where crit is disabled. Let's see. I wouldn't buy 2,000 weapon tokens for Stormborn. I would buy special. So from Hero Clash, my recommendation, I have a video on this coming out, is forge tokens for special for your main hero. So if you have a hero you love, if you're going to be a Rocket Pilot main, if you're a Stormborn main, then sure, spend the Hero Clash exchange tokens on that hero's forge. Otherwise, special weapons are probably your best bet in forge tokens in Hero Clash. Or sorry, Hero Clash exchange tokens. Yeah, I'll get over my first and third guys in a bit. Okay, cool. So I caught up on chat. Let's see here. Are we like halfway through with all these dudes? Assassin. Assassin, you know what? I'm feeling like I'm so sad with this guy. This guy was my best before I had Warlord forged up. He was my best, I guess, besides Bunny, boss brawl hero, and he just like hasn't kept up. I have him at 5-star forge now. I invested up until 4-star with super tokens and other sources, and then we just got his 5-star from hard mode arena like 2 weeks ago. And just relative to other heroes, he's been super disappointing. So Assassin has fallen down on my rankings for that reason. Big Game Hunter at 3 stars with the 3-star Forge is doing more damage than my 4-star Assassin with the 5-star Forge, which is like really sad. For whatever reason, that chakram just like I can't get it to hit the boss consistently. So I might be kiting wrong or doing something wrong, but if the chakram isn't hitting the boss, you don't do any damage. It's just the increase in damage isn't there. So I am not as high on Assassin as I was when I made this list back in February, March timeframe. So I might have it more something like Assassin, like super low A at this point. He can be good early in the game too. He was actually a first guy I remember like the second week I was playing, I swung him in a spin. I didn't realize that I had gotten a hero. I was on vacation in Canada, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And so I was reading about him in the community guide. I was like, oh, I got a good guy. So I used him a whole bunch early on. I reforged all my knight resources into Assassin. So I don't know if that was the right call, but he's been with me for a while, and I was much higher on him back in February, March than I am now. Let's see, Bunny. Bunny is he does one thing. He does one thing well, which is deal a shit ton of damage. So he either deals a shit ton enough damage to help you beat a chapter or something, or he doesn't. And Assassin's a lot like that too. So like in hard mode pushes, he would actually be like my top hero for a while when I was pushing some hard mode chapters. But then all of a sudden he just like didn't do enough damage and he would die. Or like a flock of seagulls would get to him and he would die. And so like he kind of falls off towards the end of hard mode for that reason. But he is the premier unforged hero in boss brawl. You can have Bunny at 3-star levels with no forge, and he'll do more damage than basically any hero, except for Warlord at 5 stars and Druid at 5 stars. So that's why he's so good at boss brawl, in my opinion, is because you don't need the super token and hero shard investment that you do relative to those other two. But like that's his thing, is boss brawl is like he'll put up giant numbers for you in boss brawl. He's also really good in guild event. Again, I don't put a ton of emphasis on guild event, but it's there. And I did use him for clearing out arena chapters. So when my Blade Master didn't have what had crit disabled, I would go to Bunny for those higher arena stages. So he does a ton of damage, and it's like, will it just be enough or not? Is the question. Thematically, a lot of fun. Shoots carrots. He's like, this is a good Easter hero compared to the other one, in my opinion. And then so like you can see like a clear difference in like a fun kind of hero versus what that fits the art style versus the other one, in my opinion. Nutcracker. Let me see if I can find him in my. Yeah, he's here. Nutcracker is not. Let's not stretch him out. Nutcracker is somewhere in here, I think. I was higher on Nutcracker earlier in my HVH career. I have slowed on him a bit. Special hero shards are super hard to come by, so like getting him up to 4 stars has been a slog. I have not been super impressed with his 3-star forge, although it does add a nice global, so he got that going for him. So I think he's like an average hero. I think I may have had him higher in earlier rankings, and now I think I've have him down a little bit more. Again, the difference between average and fun and average is like no difference. So like all these guys are the same basically. But Nutcracker has fallen out of favor with me a bit. Can you actually see him on stream? Make sure I'm not covering him up. All right, you can kind of see his head there. Covering the chat will cover him up. But he's like right in the middle of average, I think. Yeah, being a special faction hero without a forge also limits his ceiling, which isn't great. So like he just won't do as much damage as other heroes. Oh, he's got a forge. What am I talking about? But yeah, he's just about average in my head. All right, I talked about Bunny a second ago. Now I'll talk about Druid. Druid is highest capped. Druid is made for boss brawl for whatever reason. guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. It's his skill that adds expose maxed with his 5R forge that lets him just do nutty damage at 4-star levels and 5-star levels. I think it's that combination. It's 4 or 5-star level skills for expose, plus I think it's 5R, whatever that is on his forge. It's that combo that lets Druid. When you guys go look at the top of the boss brawl charts and see like Mosin and Orchardist and even Dog Josh. Dog Josh is pushing levels. Yeah, I love to see that one. I love Dog Josh. What a good guy. And who else is up there? This Apex guy is up there. No, Tesla. Tesla, man, he's been coming out of nowhere. I've seen him over the last couple of months. He's like slowly but surely just like topping the charts now. So Apex getting some love amongst all the Ultima and Headhunter guys up there, some Cake of Death guys. But Druid anyway is the highest cap boss brawl hero. He's fine in hard mode. I think kind of like unspectacular otherwise, but it's his 5R forge, yeah. That's 5R forge that does it. So get Druid. I that's the one other guy that I like every week. It's like, do I want to spend money to get Druid or not? Because like you just can't get to that next level in boss brawl unless you have him. And I think Bunny's a little bit better of a hero overall because Bunny does like generally more damage with less forge investment. So Druid has a higher cap, but Bunny has a better floor, if that makes sense, right? So Bunny's floor is here, Druid's down here, but then the cap is here, something like that. Let's see. I'll break out another S tier hero for now. Artificer. Artificer has fallen down in my rankings a little bit, just like relative to like basically Dark Mage, I think, has unseated him. And him and Oracle are essentially the same hero, with like different skins and like slightly different thematics. I really like Artificer. So Freelancer is really cool. One of my favorite just like stories of playing heroes versus hordes so far has been that when I first started doing videos, Freelancer just started playing the game. And I was like, hey, dude, as you continue to play, just like ask me questions. And I can like get a sense of what it's like to start over and grow. And Freelancer now is like almost like cleared out all the content in the game. He used Artificer as his main at the beginning, him and Plague Keeper. He came in during the Plague Keeper adventure. And I think quickly grabbed him as like his like early like driving force. But it's been really cool to see his growth. And Artificer was one of the main drivers of that early game. So Artificer is fantastic when you get him early. The way his kit is built, you can clear out normal mode, hard mode, and arena. Once you get his forge rolling, this guy puts out just a ton of DPS. And so for that reason, I consider him one of the S tier heroes. He's not as high. So Dark Mage has a higher ceiling. And Santa has got like a more like unique purpose. But Artificer still stands out as like one of the better heroes in the game to me, from like the beginning to the end. So big fan of Artificer. He will fall off for you eventually in later like end game content, but super fun to play, really, really strong. Synergize as well with some other heroes on this list. So very, very good hero. I think I'm going to run out of like A space here probably in a second. Here's a cool one. So I'm going to bring up Sentry Specialist. Sentry Specialist is like this enigma to me. I think she's a lot of fun to play. She's like another one with like kind of a minion concept, right? She's got her like one sentry, which makes her super fun. She has at top levels, like maxed forge max levels, like insane damage possibilities because her sentry scales infinite. As with time, she can put out just ludicrous damage. And it also, the sentry ends up getting more health and attracting all the horde to it, giving you like livability space or survivability. So like top tier end of game hero, but you do need the investment. So like she's also like Astral Mage in that sense, where both of them are going to like need the investment in order to be super strong. So I have her. So Orchardist is like the quintessential, or is it Moratory? I'm going to say his name right. It's Moratory, right? The other guy who like from Cake or Death, who's like one of the best players in the game, he's like top 10 boss brawl right now, pushes crazy numbers with Sentry Specialist and boss brawl. But you need Sentry Specialist at 5-star levels. And that's because of how her ultimate scales with skill levels. You can start getting wrenches faster, and it lets her push her cannon up to level 3 faster. And at that point, she's just a monster. So you do need a big investment with her. I have her at 5-star Forge with only 4-star levels, and it's not there. So you need that last 5th star. And then you also need Circuit Breaker, and you need the level 10 Ultimate Charge Jewel. So I'm on a Sentry Specialist Rampage. I'm trying to get her up to 5 stars. So I can be like my idols on the top of Boss Brawl. But it takes a ton of investment. I think she's fun to play. So she's like a slightly weaker version of Astral Mage, but with like a higher damage cap. That's my take. And then also, who's doing it? Sorry, I just gotta grab his name real quick. So Robert Speedwagon. He's got from Headhunters, has been working on a guide for Sentry Specialist. And I'm telling you, Sentry Specialist is sleeper OP. Like, it's a really, really strong hero, but you do need the investment in it. I still haven't seen his work yet, so gotta get it to me. Get over to me, EO. But it's got like super high cap. It's very, very cool hero. To keep that in mind. But it takes a ton of investment. So I still have not recouped my cost, but I am forgetting about sunk costs and just going all in. Let's see. The next guy I'll just grab here is Hoplite. Hoplite I have is like a shelfie. From people that play with him, so I've heard from hacks that like he's a fun hero to play with. I think a couple other guys in the guild have said that he's fun. He's got a fantastic global. His 3-star Forge is times 1.1 to damage, best in the game. So despite me putting him down in the shelfie list, you should be excited when you get him for the global. That's why he's a shelfie, because you're excited to get him, but for a global. So like I would be thrilled if I got him today, but I wouldn't use him. So that's why he's a shelfie. Fire Wizard, firmly on the shelfie side of things. You can get him for gems, right? So like I grab him eventually. He's got a couple of good globals. He's got times burning damage, right? What would fit with his theme? Area of effect and I don't know. Damage to burning is only on the guild, so it's area of effect, and then okay, damage to all damage from his 3-star Forge. So he's good for globals, but that's it. You don't really use Fire Wizard for literally anything. But you know, when you have enough gems, you could invest in him. If you don't, I understand too. But you can get him free to play just from gems. So I grab him eventually for the globals more than anything. Don't feel rushed. Elsa is like a paid version of Fire Wizard. Her kit, every time you read her kit, it seems like she should be strong, but she just doesn't put out the deeps. So she has a bunch of disruption, but just no damage. Fantastic globals. One of, if not the best globals in the game. So, again, like Hoplite, be excited if you get her. You're not going to use her all that much. That's like the definition of a shelfie to me. Shelfie is a good global hero that you don't really ever use. So maybe I should move Steam Golem down to like need a rework potentially. Because he doesn't have any globals and he doesn't have a Forge and he doesn't have anything that you... It's not a glowing endorsement of Steam Golem. Let's see. Anyone? Let me catch up on chat real quick. Let's see. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm out of sync with my lips. That should be strange. But I should have everything. Everything looks like it's streaming okay, from what I can see. Let's see. Yeah, Sentry Specialist and Boss Brawl. I'm starting to put out decent numbers, but it's been a slog. So it wasn't like Warlord where it just turned on instantaneously. Like it's been like trying to figure out how to make Sentry Specialist work. So speaking of Warlord, woo! I have him at 3. I am not a Warlord junkie. So here's my deal with Warlord. I've put a whole bunch of analysis into this guy. He is the hero I use at the end game more than any other hero. So he's like the best late game hero. So you could make an argument that he's the best hero overall. But what best end game hero means is that you need 4 star levels, you need at least a 4-star forge, preferably 5-star forge, and you need at least 30 or 40 other heroes in your roster at level 120 or higher. So that is a lot of dependencies to make him the best hero in the game. So I don't value him. If you're thinking of more early game, trying to clear out normal mode, hard mode, and arena, it's just not there. But then you take on like literally that last 5-10% of the game, and he's the guy that you can use for all of it. So the strongest endgame hero, I still put more value on the early game relative to the late game, and so I have him at 3-star. I have him as the third best hero in the game. Personally, again, we're talking like minuscule differences here, but like if you ask me today, would I spend 8,000 gems on Werebeast or on Warlord? I would spend 8,000 gems on Werebeast. That's my logic. I would probably spend 7,800 gems on Warlord, right? So that's my thinking there. Werebeast you can use out of the box right away. Warlord you need to have a roster of 30 heroes leveled up in order to make him like hit his peak. So that's the difference. Warlord is great for hard mode arena. He's great for nightmare mode. He's great for Dragon's Tower. He's great for boss brawl. He's great once you have all those criteria met for clearing out hard mode and regular arena. Best hero in Hero Clash. Hero Clash's build is different. Hero Clash, you want to run armor and life tome. Something to think about. So like the way I beat all the people higher than me in power score is just evolve his weapon, armor, life tome, and you can clear out people that are like several hundred, thousand, million points higher than you. Did I not like move? Did I not refresh in time? Let's see here. You guys can see Warlord on it, right? So Warlord is a great endgame hero, and so actually that's a special Hero Clash secret that I'm trying to that I tell people. So it's not really a secret. But if you're trying to beat someone way stronger than you, try armor and life tome. That will usually let you like outlive them. Now, if your hero sucks, you don't have a chance anyway. But if you're using like Oracle, Artificer, Warlord, Werebeast, Dark Paladin, Shield Warden, Necromancer, any of those guys in Hero Clash, Armor Tome, Life Tome let you beat guys significantly stronger than you. And so, let's see. Grab next. Here's a cool guy. So, Pumpkin Shade. Pumpkin Shade is another one that just has like an identity. He's the Hero Orb guy. So I know he's supposed to be like Halloween themed, but his real identity is that his global gives you like this massive boost to Hero Orbs. It's like a 40% increase in your Hero Orb farming. So he's like the Hero Orb guy. For that one reason, you could like move him up like here somewhere. Like for that one global, makes him potentially like S tier. That's how important that hero, with the way the game has changed post patch 3.4 and the value of hero orbs. Like if we have Santa and mid S, you could actually just for his global make Pumpkin like low S. I know it sounds kind of nutty, but like endgame players love this dude for hero orbs. And as you're progressing through the game, like hero orbs are really, really strong. I haven't played with him. To me, his thematic, like the way he like looks and feels is a lot like Trapper. So like if someone has that, he seems like a lot like that kind of hero. So like an average fun kind of to play, but that one global has him like low S, high A. So this is the kind of guy, like I told you, like be excited if you have Hoplite. This is like Hoplite on steroids. So it goes from like moving Hoplite from like something like a Shelfie to like all the way up to S tier. And it's only for the Hero Orb global. So like that's huge. Let's see here. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't think I refreshed my screen enough to get Warlord in there earlier. Let's see here. Should I spend about 50 bucks in the werewolf or stay with 5-star monk? So I have gone totally free to play since March. So I have stopped recommending spending on stuff generally. I think you can save for it. That said, $50 to buy a hero is expensive. Well, I think $50 to buy a hero is baseline. So you can get Druid in Boss Brawl for $50 every week. If you can get a hero for $25 or less, that's what you're shooting for. So like in this event, for example, let's say you don't have the gems to finish the spins, but you got up to like, I don't know, 8,000 currency, and you need like 4,000 more currency, and it only costs $25 for the currency. That's a good buy for a hero. If you can get a hero for 25 bucks, in my opinion, that's like a good deal. 50 bucks is what I'd say about average. So would I spend $50 on Werebeast? I wouldn't personally now. I did in the past. So like I wouldn't blame you if you wanted it. But that's how I think about hero pricing is like $25. Now, Cake Invictus making an appearance. Hey, dude, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it, man. And Paradox, thanks for the. I forgot to shout you out earlier, but thank you, Paradox, for the super early on. Appreciate that, man. I read all of your comments. I just don't always use my brain to say them out loud. Yes, Bavarian. I can do him next. Bavarian is the other hero orb farmer. Bavarian gets it, I think, from himself actually doing the farming. So I don't own the man. So I don't have an opinion on his funness. But I believe that Bavarian, you actually need to do the farming with him. Is that true or no? Yes. So with Bavarian at level 140, he gets plus 15 extra hero orbs on completing a run. So what you end up doing is running. Ideally, you get Pumpkin Shade, and then you run farming after you're done getting keys with Santa with Bavarian for hero orbs. So your farming can shift from Santa full time to either Leprechaun or to Bavarian, depending on what resource you're trying to get. Bavarian or Leprechaun for coins, Bavarian for hero orbs. But you actually need to use him, and so that's why I have Bavarian more like an average hero. You're going to need to get him up to 4 stars, which is going to take a while. And like he's not a great hero damage-wise. I don't have the thematics there. I haven't used him, so I don't know his thematics perfectly well. I know he's got pretzels and he heals and stuff. So like a fun little guy, like a holiday-themed dude. I'd say probably like in the average-ish range. Again, like be happy if you get the guy, because eventually you'll get him up for the hero orb farming. Scroll Sage. This is a guy that just like came out in a random event, and like has like no identity about anything. So he does damage. He's in the Magic Council. You know, he's like Sporemancer, but I think he does less damage. I think from what I've seen, he does like a very little amount of damage too. So like no real upside. Bad globals. The Scroll Sage was just kind of like a dude that came out, and the big problem when they just release a hero like that is it inflates the number of heroes in the game, which impacts the portal system. So it's really harder. Every hero they add makes it harder to get hero shards for the hero you want. So when they add like random heroes like Sporemancer or Scroll Sage that a lot of people don't ever get and then have no real identity and like aren't excited about getting eventually, it hurts like every other hero a little bit, right? So it sucks that like Warlord has to compete with Scroll Sage for hero shards in the portal system. So I would much prefer they like come out with like cool, interesting heroes and not ones that like mess up the portal system, ideally. Or they need to rework the portal system now that there's like 66 heroes instead of 30, right? Because it's just like real hard to get anybody to 5 stars. And like these guys down here like just eat into the resources of the other guys. Some more than others. That's my rant on portals, on the portal system. Monk. Monk is, I had him as a very, very high S tier guy. I think he's still up there. He's one of these early game kind of guys. So let's see here. I got him early game. The one issue with Monk that's unlike the guys higher on the list. So if you look at this kind of order, he's somewhere around here because he requires a forge. You need his 4-star forge to like truly unlock his power in hard mode and normal mode. And then also in arena. Like he can start clearing arena too once he has his 4-star forge. But that's like more of an investment than these other guys, right? So we talk about Werebeast with like really not needing any forge. Monk needs a 4-star forge to shine. So he might actually be like potentially more like this nowadays in my head. Moving things around, refreshing. Somewhere here. So I think I had him like maybe top 5 in my original ranking 6 months ago. Still strong. I just think not top 5. See if I sneeze in a second or not. But yeah, really strong in hard mode arena. Sorry, really strong in hard mode, normal mode, can clear arena, can push like early stages in nightmare mode. I haven't had much success with him in Dragon's Tower. He's good in the dungeon, like high level dungeon. When you have Monk all forged up, he's actually really strong in like late dungeon stages. So like a little niche showing there. But like low S, he's a very good hero, and he's fun. He's the Avatar before there was Avatar. Right, like the name of his ultimate is literally Airbender. So like, there we go. For all of you guys that didn't get the Avatar heroes, like you have one right here. Also, I don't have the avatars on this list. I don't consider them real in my head, so I don't have them here. Knight, being a starter hero, he's actually one of the best heroes, one of the better heroes in the game. So he's right up here like Blade Master. I'll probably switch them around. I put Knight a little bit better than Blade Master. Because Knight is stronger in the like early game, like for being the starter guy, I still use him today. 4-star Forge makes him like viable in a bunch of late game settings, like in later parts of Nightmare mode, Hard mode arena, Dragon's Tower, all that jazz. He's not like S tier in any of those, but he's solid all the way around. So very good hero, very versatile. Use him from the beginning of the game. I still use him now, 18 months later, at the end of the game. So great hero. Whereas I actually don't use Blade Master anymore now. So to give you a sense of that, like Blade Master, I used a lot for clearing a regular arena, but since I could do that easily with other heroes, I haven't touched Blade Master since. I still use Knight though every week in Dragon's Tower. Crystalmancer. Crystalmancer's an interesting case here. She's got a ton of damage. Like this hero has a really high damage cap. So I'll put her in like the average kind of range for now. If they gave her a Forge, she could move up to A or S tier. She's got like that kind of damage potential. But right now, like that's all she is. She doesn't have any really like interesting thematics otherwise. So not a particularly like fun, exciting hero. Like the difference between her and Steam Golem is just that she does damage and Steam Golem doesn't, basically, in my head. Then there's this, man, there was such a rough time for adventure heroes when it was like Crystalmancer, what is this guy? I don't even know. Glacial Sentinel and Steam Golem in a row. Like that wasn't the best time for adventure heroes. The one saving grace of the Glacial Sentinel is that he's got good armor bonuses for the nature faction. So like I was saying before, I would move up Slime Sage to at least Shelfie if he had a armor bonus. Glacial Sentinel has that armor bonus, and so he gets to move up into Shelfie. He provides an armor bonus in the faction camp for the Nature Guardians. So he gets to move up to at least Shelfie status. But I'd never use him. The big thing with him is it's awkward proccing his snowballs. Has been my experience, and he doesn't have the damage to compensate. Oh man, Wave is here. Hey Wave, appreciate you. I still think about you all the time, Wave, and use you as examples all the time. Hope everything's going well. I got a bunch of old guys. Cake Invictus is here. The old OG crew. 302 showing up out of his new job. Congrats on the new job, bud. Guess Wave, you're gonna have to wait until the end to see who I have at the #1 spot, right, bud? But yeah, everyone already knows what it is. All right, I'm gonna do this thing where I just grab 4 heroes at once and bring them on. I haven't done that yet, so let me do that real quick. Because this is gonna be like copying and pasting. It's actually kind of interesting. So let me move these guys around a bit and then do this really cool thing where I grab 4 at once. No, maybe I'm not going to do that. All right. This is from the original list. No, not working. That didn't work. All right, I'm gonna bring up Dark Ranger, Void Raven, Arcane Mage, and Spirit Shaman at the same time. These were all I had as like the worst heroes in the game back when I did this in March. I have since changed my opinion on some of them. The first one is Void Raven. Void Raven, I'm actually moving up here to like low average. Void Raven's biggest issue is that like Slime Sage requires her to have her over here, so you guys can see on the right side. Hopefully, I'm not blocking it with my face. Not okay, cool. Her big thing is that she actually can do a ton of damage in boss brawl. So they fixed a little bit of the timing on her skills taking like seconds to proc, which is Slime Sage's problem. And in boss brawl, when you're hitting the same target over and over again, she can actually scale up her damage pretty well. And again, I don't know if she's a she or not. I always forget, but I call her a she in my head. So she's actually a really good hero for boss brawl. You need to get her up to 4 stars, and she doesn't have a forge. But when they introduce a forge to her eventually, she will be a very strong boss brawl hero. It'll be a lot like Assassin, but potentially higher upside. So I'm excited for Void Raven, actually. I think they've reworked her enough. They've actually done the rework a couple times that she's viable and can clear. I really like running her in Faction Wars. You can probably clear normal mode and hard mode with her. Still won't do great in Arena. She doesn't have any disruption in her kit. But if they give her a Forge, it could be like a legitimate like Assassin level boss brawl hero. So I'm actually much higher on Void Raven than I was before. Dark Ranger I still think is bad, but he's a shelfie, and they're not going to change a guy that's been around forever. So like we'll put him in like firmly in like shelfie space. Same thing with Arcane Mage. I don't think you're going to get much out of these two heroes, except for the fact that they do have really strong globals. So the one nice thing about all these free-to-play heroes, you can see I put right in the middle of the shelfies, hopefully. No. Okay, you can see Dark Ranger there. Arcane Mage is right next to him. They are great for their globals. You're never going to use them. So firmly on the shelf. And I don't think they're ever going to get... No, that's an Arcane Mage. That's Spirit Shaman. And they're not really going to ever get reworked, I think, because they're just so old. So you should get them for having them on your shelf. And like they are very good for their globals. So like be happy with them as shelf heroes. They're free to play heroes. Take them. They are not good heroes to use, but they are shelfies. Spirit Shaman, they just reworked like today. So I had her in the rework category. We'll see what it's like being able to evolve her weapon off of Life Tome instead of Regen Tome. That could be cool. And then what else we got for her? They fixed how I think the logic of her and the healing of her pets works. So she might be not the worst hero anymore. We got a high bar here, but I had her as like one of the worst ones before. So how do I mask? I should be able to like, okay, there we go. Shift click. I should be able, so that she probably won't be as bad as she was. So I have her right here for now and needs a rework, but she just got her rework like today. So maybe she's like low average or at least a shelf hero. Now, the problem is she's not a shelf hero. Her globals suck. So if you can't use her, she's in a need of rework territory. But it remains to be seen. I have beaten Nightmare Mode 202 with her. You can beat most of the content in this game with any hero if you really like them, but it's going to be much harder to do with Spirit Shaman than with Werebeast. Like you have to really try hard and put a lot of effort in to beat it with Spirit Shaman, whereas like Werebeast will make it easy. And that's also part of like this ranking thing. Like again, you can use any hero you like. It'll just be way easier with better heroes. And that's again why everyone uses Warlord at the end of the game, because like he's easier to use than all the other guys. Circuit Breaker I'll grab real quick. Very much like a shelfie. I think I have him somewhere like right next to Lionheart, maybe here in the middle. Like he'll do enough damage for you. I did some testing on the God account. He does like average damage, so he's like right here in like an average hero. Nothing to write home about. So you could use him if you get him and you like him. It's a big investment. I'm actually saving up for Sentry Specialist. His big thing is he has a faction bonus that reduces the ultimate activation cost for everyone else in the faction. So I'm going to save up mostly just to make Sentry Specialist stronger. BLT, I did not experience the Dark Ranger great for new players phenomenon, but I'll say it out loud that BLT says he's good for Dark Ranger is good for new players because of the slow. Yes, and he is stronger in stationary auto mode where you can it'll attack the closest targets for you with the slow. But I've had like really bad experiences with Dark Ranger in my gameplay. Let's see, did I miss anything else here? You guys are talking about Rocket Kitties and CMWs, Cemar, Raccoon. I agree. The way the free-to-play heroes work, and the nice thing about free-to-play heroes, because the globals are so strong, that getting them has long-term value. So, like, if you invest in getting Arcane Mage up to level 100, like, don't reset her. You're going to use all those globals. They're great. Why is a Raven like a writing desk? I don't understand what that means. 302. Mosin is a Dark Ranger fan too. Good to know. Okay, and then Faction Wars for Dark Ranger. Okay, so maybe I stand corrected on Dark Ranger being not like, maybe he's not the worst hero in the game, but I have not had a positive experience with him. But it does look like you guys could potentially use him early game for the slow in his kit. Which brings me to Tide Warden. Tide Warden seems like this hero should be awesome. You read the kit that the Tide Warden has. I have her in like the low averagey kind of range. But she just doesn't do enough. It's kind of like Elsa. She doesn't do enough damage to warrant like a higher ranking, unfortunately. Let's see if you guys can see her. Can you guys see her behind me? You can kind of see her there. So she doesn't do enough damage, unfortunately. And the slow doesn't compensate. So I have her as like an average, like a below averagey kind of hero. I don't own her. I can't say how fun she is to play. But I feel like she should be stronger than she is. She kind of reads like Elsa. This guy, somehow I haven't done Big Game Hunter yet. I love Big Game Hunter. The chase hero in Boss Brawl, 100% worth it to get it for Boss Brawl. He is a Boss Brawl hero. He is not as good as the other Boss Brawl heroes like Bunny and Druid. So I will put him right below them in the A tier. This dude was made for Boss Brawl. My 3-star, level 3 Forge Big Game Hunter does 20% more damage than my level 4-star, 5-star Forge Assassin. So Big Game Hunter was made for Boss Brawl. Super fun hero for it. I really, really like this. The idea of this guy that's like gonna be a thing that kills bosses. Like again, great identity. He fits it. He's got this big stupid gun, and he's like Elmer Fudd shooting the bunny. Like I get it. So I'm really a big fan of Big Game Hunter. I think he's fun to play. I use him in Boss Brawl once a week. So for like a bunch of these other guys I very rarely use, I use Big Game Hunter all the time. But again, he's very Boss Brawl specific, and I would recommend saving up your tokens to get him if you like Boss Brawl as a game mode, and it's my favorite game mode. So he's like, right, if you have Bunny, Druid, and Big Game Hunter, those are the Boss Brawl guys. All right, here's an interesting one in Warlock. I've heard like from many people that a 5-star Warlock is actually super, super strong. So I have not, unfortunately, got to experience that yet, and I haven't seen like screenshots of damage, but I'm gonna play around with like the end of this A tier here, and I wouldn't be surprised if like people had her higher than low A. I think I just did a full circle there, but let's move Warlock like right here for now. Warlock at 5-star Forge can clear hard mode arena, which is like really interesting. Like with only mythic gear in a 5-star Forge, I've heard that she can clear hard mode arena, which is like really hard to do. So that might actually like that one instance means that she's probably also strong in hard mode and like regular arena, but you're gonna need a Forge, and I don't know how many star levels you need. So Warlock to me, I don't have enough experience with her, and she's not talked a lot about, or he, I can't tell what it is from the small little image. in the forums. But from what I've heard, Warlock actually has like big upside. So something to consider here. I have her right now somewhere in this A tier, and she might be on the higher side of A. I'm not sure. Rosemother. Rosemother's a cool hero. Actually, I actually like this hero. I have not got to play with her except for in try mode. But if you don't have these big druid, bunny, big game hunters, she's actually a very competent replacement in boss brawl. You're gonna need 4-star forge, but 302 has shown that like if you don't have the big boppers, she can be a weekly boss brawl guy for you and keep you in League 8. So Rosemother with forge has like damage upside potential, which also means that she's stronger in normal and hard mode. And she's kind of like Zyra, I guess would be her equivalent from League of Legends. All right, Geomancer. We're getting towards the end here. I only got like 4 left, guys. So thanks for bearing with me. Geomancer. I love this hero. I forget the character in Avatar that it looks like, but the Earthbender in Avatar is my favorite of all the Avatar characters. And that's what you get with Geomancer. Now, Geomancer doesn't have a forge, which again limits his ceiling, and his globals aren't particularly strong. But his ultimate procs automatically. It doesn't require killing Horde. So if they ever give Geomancer a forge, he's got massive upside. He could end up being something like Dark Mage. But he doesn't have a forge, so he's not. So he's right here with Void Raven. I think they actually pair really well together. They have like really big upsides with forges, but they don't have a forge right now. So hopefully we get them eventually. Again, and now that it's like later, we'll get like we'll get like Shield Warden type forges, which are really strong. Rounding out some shelf heroes here is Ice Wizard. Damage to Frozen Horde can be big in certain game modes. It's really helpful in boss brawl, actually. The boss gets frozen during the vulnerability phase, and so that will increase your damage to him. Make sure he actually has it. Oh, you know what? It doesn't actually have damage to Frozen? Oh, never mind. The globals for the Frost Wizard are all effect duration and XP. Alright, so not even as strong as I had hoped, or in my head. You do get the 1.1 damage to Frozen, but that's faction specific. So, Frost Wizard, yeah, is like a low tier Shelfie. That guy could potentially use a rework. I actually had a lot of fun playing with him early in the game. He was never as strong as Knight for me, so I couldn't use him all that much, but I did enjoy like his ice attack. But yeah, his globals aren't even as strong as I remember them being. So, firmly on the shelf. I think I have him right behind me in my list. Yeah, he's right behind the chat. You can kind of see him between the chat and my head. All right, Tinkerer. Tinkerer is, for me, average and fun. I really like the thematic. 4-star Forge makes him strong and viable for a lot of different game modes. Ends up getting stunned and does it like actually a solid amount of damage in boss brawl. Again, if you don't have any of the big boppers, a 4-star Tinkerer can be really strong in boss brawl if you can see what the hell you're doing. The one problem is you can't see most of the time because the mines start taking up the entire screen, and like seeing the boss can be hard. So keep that in mind. And then the last guy on the list, our number one big bopper, is still for me Clockwork Mage. I am high on the Clockwork Mage train, probably relative to some other people, but to me, you grab Clockwork Mage and she automatically clears Nightmare mode. Sorry, she automatically clears normal mode, hard mode, and arena for you. She makes arena incredibly easy, which makes her the preeminent early game hero, like in my book. So like her power in the early game is tremendous. And then once you get her up to 4 and 5-star Forge, you can still use her in Nightmare mode. Haxenden beat all of Nightmare mode with her. You can still use her in hard mode arena. You can still use her in lower levels of Dragon's Tower. I'm having trouble with her in higher levels, but like lower levels, you can still use her. So you still use Clockwork Mage from as soon as you get her to literally the end of the game. And she's the best at the early game, which is where I weight more in this particular list. So in my book, Clockwork Mage is super strong. She does enough damage to get you through enough of the content that she warrants being the number one overall hero in my book. But again, right, like you can make the argument that Warlord could be number one. You can make it that Werebeast wouldn't hold it against you if you did. In my book, she's number one. And again, I put more emphasis on the early game. And if you're going to spend money or gems, I would recommend something like this order, and hopefully give you guys enough understanding of like how I think about heroes, so that you can make your own decisions, right? Because like maybe you're like, okay, I'm gonna get through the normal mode and hard mode with Astral Mage, so I'm gonna get Warlord so that I'm ready for endgame. Like perfectly fine strategy. But now at least like my thinking on why I rank them and how I rank them. And you can take it and like apply it to your own game state, because it's like not super fun if I just tell you what to get and you don't do any thinking yourself. The idea is to give you a mental model so you can figure it out and have fun with it, because a lot of this game is like making the choices around that kind of stuff. Trapper, you're right, I don't have Trapper on this list. I should have him. Thank you for that. Trapper is, I would put him actually kind of like in this Inkbot range. I'm going to have a hard time like rearranging all these things. So maybe I'll do that later. Trapper is average, low. He's a low A to average to fun hero. I have him at 2-star Forge now, and he does like a very solid amount of damage. I think thematically he's a lot of fun to play. I like his like look of like a bear man pig person. Even though his like eyes aren't connected to his face, but his mustache is connected to his face. But he's like an average fun hero. Thank you for pointing that one out. I did miss Trapper. I thought I had counted them all, but apparently I did not. Let's see. Are there anything else in the chat that I missed? Yes. So I would say for Big Game Hunter personally, and then the nice thing after you get Big Game Hunter is that Boss Brawl becomes essentially a second Faction Wars. So then after I got Boss Brawl, I've been using it to get hero shards for Warlord. Yeah, Big Game Hunter could use a rework. I agree, Hexen, and one of the skills for crit. Again, that is pretty worthless. Yeah, Dark Paladin is still a very, very strong hero. Okay, so Rosemother, Elisa says, well, Rosemother's maxed out. Okay, yeah, so Rosemother, let's see here. I have her in somewhere in the average. Right, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of shuffling here. I don't know if you guys like want to watch me do a little hero shuffle, but I think Rosemother has a strong claim to being somewhere in the A tier for sure. As does Sentry Specialist. There's just like so many heroes here. Again, the difference between someone like Leprechaun and Puppeteer and like Rosemother is like very strong. Sorry, very small. But you're going to need, so for Rosemother, you're going to need a 5-star Forge, I'd imagine. Like that's the key to being able to clear out like hard mode arena and later game content. Is it Eliza or it's Eliza or Alyssa? I don't know how you're going to tell me how to pronounce it because I'm awful with names, but yeah, definitely strong in Boss Brawl, and then can push normal mode, hard mode arena with the Forge. So Rosemother has a strong. I will consider moving her up into the A group somewhere. She sounds a lot like Warlock to me, based on what you're saying. Snake Emperor, sheesh, I did miss a couple here. I have them uploaded. I'm also missing Plague Keeper. I haven't talked about him, right? I think I talked about him in another setting. Let me get. Gosh almighty, there's so many heroes. All right, so Dragon Emperor. Dragon Emperor actually has a strong DPS upside. So I don't own the hero, and it's like all about poison. Like his whole thing, like this guy, and I guess Plague Keeper. Their whole shtick is like poisoning heroes, poisoning Horde. So they're very similar in that sense. And they both actually have high damage upsides. If you get either of them up to a 4-star Forge, they'll actually put out pretty solid numbers. You can use Plague Keeper in Boss Brawl with the 4 and 5-star Forge. It'll put out pretty significant damage, honestly. I mean, like most heroes, I guess not all heroes, but there are examples too where like 4 and 5-star Forges make a difference on the damage side. Right, so like, let's see. It's hard for me to, why can't I mass select? Option click? Fortunately, I don't know Canva enough to be able to, like, I should be able to select all these guys at once. There we go. Move you guys over there. Sorry as I do my rearranging here. Something like this. So they have high upside actually. So another like kind of like Rose Mother Warlock class of heroes where like I haven't used them. I've used Playkeeper, I should say. I'm not like a super fan of like a thematic. Like the poison thing is like ho hum. The whole screen goes green. So it's like not my favorite guy. His globals are middling. Same with Snake Emperor. I think the Snake Emperor's globals are actually not particularly interesting, but let me check real quick before I say that. Oh, I'm also missing Bombardier and Ronin. God, what the hell? There are so many heroes. Let me I need to grab Ronin Blossom and Bombardier too. Jeez Louise. Images. The thing to note with Bombardier, if I can get him in here. Really strong globals. So he's a shelfie to me. I've actually heard that even when like forged up, he's not that great. Whatever his bouncing bomb thing is, it's like not something to write home about. So let me get it going over here. Oh man, I messed up my pretty lines. Bombardier I have over here. I always say his name wrong too. Really great +1 projectile global, but kind of lacking in like the actual like playability. So like not the best guy there. And then the other one was Ronin Blossom. Ronin Blossom I tried using on the God account the other day. Do I not have his art? Oh, it's Blossom Ronin. I don't even know how to say the dude's name right. He looks really cool. So Blossom Ronin looks really cool. But I have him like way over here on the right side behind my head on like on the average tier. I used him on the God account and wasn't blown away. His main weapon didn't beat out Borer in Boss Brawl. So like not a super high damage hero, I guess. But kind of looks like a ninja samurai type dude. Not my favorite art. It was like a random special event hero, so like not a ton of people have him. Basically like kind of like your average guy. Fine if you have him, but like nothing to write home about. And like kind of like at this point, like just in my head, like a generic kind of hero. Let's see. I know I've been crapping on the Easter Bunny guy. All right, he's got solid globals though. So Ronin's got times 105 damage to elites, and he's got 1.05 damage to slowed. So actually pretty solid globals there. So I might actually put him on like he's a good shelf hero for sure. Better than like Fire Wizard here. So somewhere on the shelf he would end up, I would say. I think you'll get more damage from like most other heroes based on my like limited play testing. Again, though, if you like his play style, that's a different story. But I think that he would end up for me being like a solid shelf hero. Be kind of like how I end up ranking him here. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to change the order a bit on stuff and like make it look pretty. Reviewing the top 10, see if I'm happy with that. Clockwork Mage, Werebeast, Warlord, Dark Mage, Santa. I'm happy with the top 5. Artificer, Dark Paladin. I think I might actually do this at this point. I could see a case where Dark Paladin in my head has moved so far up these rankings that I actually have him next. How do I move these guys around efficiently? Do a little bit of this. I think Kezarthup has won the war. And I have these two guys. I'll move them around a little bit more. I'll put him at number 6. So I originally had him like in the mid-teens, and now 6 months later, I'll have him there. I like that. Artificer and Oracle, very similar kind of damage heroes. Shield Warden is like Werebeast Light. Doesn't need a ton of investment. Can get you through Nightmare mode and Hard mode. Monk needs a 4-star Forge, but is strong. Pumpkin Shade here purely for his global. So that's how strong that one global is. I'm going to update my global rankings probably, but that one hero orb, with the way they've changed the hero orb value in this game, that one hero orb global makes him S tier. So like Santa Light. This A group is all bunched together. Like, I know I have an order here. You can basically ignore it. Anybody in this group is basically the same. Right. I like Knight a lot. I like Leprechaun a lot. I really enjoy playing with Puppeteer. I think it's been a really fun hero. So these boss brawl heroes, right? If you really, really like boss brawl, you can move Bunny and Druid and Big Game Hunter further up. Warlock is strong. Rose Mother has an argument for being in the A group somewhere too. So Trapper is probably not over here somewhere. He's probably more on the left-hand side of this list. Sentry Specialist is also strong. I am pretty happy with like my bottom half here. So like these two guys could have it maybe be up in the A group again. Like average and average for fun are the same. It's just one I think is more fun to play. But these shelfies are definitely shelfies. Like I think there's less argument on the bottom side of this list than on the top side. Like, right. You could argue about top 5. You could argue about placement in the A group. I think everyone pretty much agrees that these heroes are kind of bad. The big surprise probably to most people might be this Minotaur guy. Right. So like I have him surprisingly low, and it was really because trying to play around his 4-star Forge felt awful. And so if you're going to invest that much in both Dragon Tower tokens and super tokens into the 4-star Forge, you'd like the hero to be more fun, is my takeaway. So I'm sure he's usable, and I'm sure like I'm being a little bit early in my analysis here. But compared to like the relative investment it would take to get like Bulwark upgraded plus 5-star shards, Minotaur I think is like the relatively like big surprise from this list. Let's see here. Top 5 is wrong. Mosin, top 5 is wrong. Clockwork Mage moves when everyone shows up. That's like, so I would phrase that as Clockwork Mage is wrong. Not that top 5 is wrong. Let's see. So Mosin's list moves Clockwork Mage down to 6, and then everybody up 1, and Artificer at 7. Okay. What's the rationale? You just don't think Clockwork Mage scales into late game late enough? Is that the thinking on why she's not number 1? Or what's the just the logic there on Clockwork Mage, if you don't mind typing it? Barbarian is average tier for this is like average damage, not particularly interesting. The big thing is his orb farming, so that's what gets him like higher on tier lists. Is 140 orb farming, but that takes like a lot of investment. Getting 140 to get 4-star levels for special heroes, it's just a big. You're gonna spend a lot of like Dragon Tower tokens to do it. Oh man, I've been chatting my brain out here. Okay, so Mosin's saying that CD caps in later stage game modes and the fact that you need to evolve her weapon off of the cooldown tome makes her less effective in hard mode arena, Dragon's Tower, Nightmare mode. I can see that. I get the argument on top tier damage. She falls off in boss brawl pretty hard, which is unfortunate too. Um, I don't know if it is an end game handicap 100%. I don't know if I would warrant it over her early game. I have not tried Dark Mage early game without forges. Um, Christopher, I did not. I don't moderate. I only have auto moderate on. So if you said something with about Minotaur that had like a negative coordinate, it might have got auto moderated. Um, but I don't actively moderate things. So, which is like, don't take advantage of that, guys. Um, I will delete posts if they're like bad, but like I let the system do its thing in terms of like what it shows me. Yeah, I'm lobbying Freywood to change her level 140, or they bring back slows to boss brawl to give her 140 like some power. Yeah, I mean, I get the late game argument. I wouldn't argue at all that she's not in my top 5 late game heroes for sure. So like I buy that 100%. I think the early game outweighs the late game, but I get the logic. Yeah, the Minotaur thing is sad. And again, that's from me playtesting for an hour. So like maybe you could get used to running through his little. The issue was that the ball and chain that spawns at 4-star Forge, you need to like interact with it, and you need to get hit by Horde to activate a bunch of his skills, which is not a great combination in game modes where like you can't regen health. Yeah, I don't. This doesn't really have accessibility as an option in my head. I have a best free to play hero list. I have Knight at the top of that one. So free to play heroes like Knight and you like whatever adventure heroes you grab are very strong. Um, like Graves, like I've gotten Shield Warden from Adventure. Gravescraper is going to be fun. Who else is good? I got Necromancer was available from Adventure. So adventure heroes generally are strong, free to play, and so is Knight. Um, I didn't really consider the cost as an option here. It's more like if I had to pay, which one would I pay more for? So I get the logic though. It's coherent. It's also like not that big a difference. 1 and 6, I guess. Like right, like you're saying long term into the end game, like what would you be using? If most players never get past like 200 though, then I think Clockwork Mage is probably better in that instance. And for Arena, Echo. Oh Jesus, how do I miss all these heroes? Echo's not good. So, but Echo is for whatever reason all the ones I missed are like these like shelfy guys. Echo is actually a fantastic shelf hero. I think at one point Happy yelled at me or Mosin or somebody yelled at me in chat for saying that like her globals are bad. Her globals are actually freaking awesome. So I did mess up on that one. Playing with her feels so bad. The way Echo's ultimate works, where she just like dings in and out, it feels like you die every time. At least for me, like it's the same kind of feels like animation that she's dead, and that's not good. Um, and it's like very hard to control. You end up in weird spots. I'm not a huge Echo fan playing her, but her crit globals are awesome. So great for and she's great for the faction camp for assassin and like in boss brawl and for other heroes in the Shadow Syndicate. Great faction camp bonus, which I didn't talk about much here, but hers in particular is crit, and that's huge. Also, why Blade Master is really strong for the Warriors Guild. Thank you for bringing up Echo. I definitely missed that. The Echo's ultimate just needs help. I think she's getting some kind of change today. So there's that. Big Game Hunter, Chris, 100% save up for Lionheart and Circuit Breaker. In my opinion, no, until you're like very late in the game and you want to just like collect them all. Lionheart is okay if you want to grab him. Like if you're early and you're trying to build up faction camp bonuses, Lionheart's not an awful thing to get because they'll synergize with Knight and Blade Master and Paladin. But I recommend Forge tokens in Hero Clash for your favorite hero, and then Forge tokens for special weapons, and then eventually, if you want to get Lionheart or Circuit Breaker, that's how I do it. Yeah, Echo's globals are awesome. Yeah, so my Shelfie list here is basically good for globals. The Shelfies are, that's essentially what they are. The need to rework are like the bad heroes. Low average heroes are like just like not great. Um, but the Shelfies are the ones that you are good. Essentially, those should be ordered and roughly good for globals. And they will be by the time like this, like I could post this image up. But that's my thinking is that like Shelfies are good for globals. So like I would be really excited to get Hoplite. So like right, let me move these around just like it's for a second now. Right. So like if I got Hoplite, I would never use Hoplite. There's not like a situation or game mode where you're ever going to use that guy. But I'd be super pumped to grab him because his 1.1 times the damage global. So, um, so the good for globals list is basically the Shelfies list. And I gotta fix the spacing. There are so many heroes now. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Minotaur wasn't good in the God account, but also Slime Sage wasn't good in the God account. So like, it translates. Uh, the three Avatar heroes. I have not. I don't own any of them. From what I've heard, Katara is the best. The right. Katara is the best from what I've heard. I've heard Aang is not bad, and Sokka is good for globals. They all have fantastic globals. Uh, but I think the order was Katara, Aang, Sokka. How many gems would it take to get one of the top two? So you can get if you do all of the quests and you stay up late on the last day to get the extra ones, you get 66 spins for free. Um, so then you need to spend or 64 spins for free. So then you have to do 36 paid spins. 36 times 200 is 7,200 gems. That's what I'm doing to get Reaper. If you don't stay up late that last night, you need to do 8 more, which comes out to like 8,800 gems, which is like fine. Like grab Warlord. Like if you don't have Warlord, 8,800 gems for Warlord, it's 100% worth it. That's for the current event. Current event, yeah, and this is actually like pretty good for the current event thinking, right? Like get Warlord if you don't have him. Barbarian is then like a next Barbarian or Energy Mage is the next good one to grab. Reaper is like in that mix too, depending if you need like cooldown. Yeah, so this is actually I'm pretty happy with like this in terms of like even using it to figure out what you would buy during this event. Who else is in it? Anybody else? Yeah, so this event I would go like Barbarian and then like sorry, I would go Warlord and then either Reaper, Barbarian, or Energy Mage, depending on like who you like better. Energy Mage has slightly better globals, but Reaper and Barbarian have forges, so you can use them in more places. And then Rocket Pilot last. Rocket Pilot again, probably the most fun. I mean, the problem with Warlord is he's boring as shit. Warlord is not a fun hero to play. Like, really strong and really, really boring. Just no personality, nothing interesting. It's like, oh god. Rocket Pilot's on the extreme other end, where like super fun to play. I don't know. I don't know if Rage is better than extra CD from Reaper. Um, Probably Rage. Any extra rage you can get in boss brawl will net you more damage. That's the one instance. Cooldown is more generally helpful. Rage is more helpful in boss brawl. I think Barbarian's a better hero than Reaper. Like if you're actually going to use them, keep that in mind. They're all boring to play. Then you should stop playing. This should be fun. At the end of the day, it should still be fun. Like I love boss brawl is so much fun. Like you get the hang of it, right? And like figuring out how to optimize for boss brawl is super fun. Dragon's Tower, I mean, has been more fun. Still a little ho hum, very repetitive. But Boss Brawl is the one that keeps me going for sure. All right, guys. I think that's it. You can Please like and subscribe if you like the content. This was fun. This is actually a really cool way for me to like keep this list updated. So I'm probably gonna do pets and like weapons at some point soon. Maybe just next week, because then I've been trying to figure out how to keep this list updated with video content. This might be the way, because it takes a lot of time to edit, and this one doesn't require as much editing. So like and subscribe if you like the content. If you become a member on YouTube or on Patreon, you get entered in a monthly HVH giveaway for like the Gems Pass or Hero Pass kind of thing of your choosing. I think one person took spins on Puppeteer, so like you could do that too. Please leave a comment on the video. All those little things help for engagement. And remember, always do your adventures. I just got Grave Scraper yesterday, so it seems like a fun hero. All right, guys. Thanks for talking on chat. It's been super fun. If I missed anything, please leave a comment. I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, guys. Appreciate it. I'll get this image out in the wild pretty soon.